Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. The witness who spoke the most today was Arizona Republican House Speaker. That's the one that I mentioned previously. His name is Rusty Bowers. At times, he was visibly and audibly shaken. He was brought to tears. And Rudy Giuliani's name came up a lot today, including during Bowers' testimony. He shared how Trump attorneys Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, and John Eastman had all pressured him to decertify Biden electors and certify Trump electors instead. The other big bombshell came actually when he was discussing Eastman, because he told the committee that Eastman said to him, quote, "Just do it and let the courts sort it out." So not do it because it's the right thing, do it because you have a constitutional duty to, or there's election fraud that we can prove. No, just do it and we'll just let the courts figure it out. And Bowers also said that he had repeatedly asked both Giuliani and Jenna Ellis for proof of election fraud. He kept asking them, give me a list of names. Because they kept telling him, oh, there's thousands of people in your state, these people who are dead or undocumented immigrants, and they all have voted for Biden. And so repeatedly, he was asking them, get me a list, get me the evidence. And at one point, Trump even was on the phone with Giuliani, apparently, and said, oh, get the man what he needs. And they kept telling him, oh, yeah, we're going to get it for you. We're going to get it for you. He specifically asked Jenna Ellis one time, so you have evidence? And she said, yes. Yet, he said, quote, no one ever provided me the evidence. And then Bowers said that Giuliani told him at one point, and this was the other big bombshell, quote, we have a lot of theories, but no evidence. That's it. That's it. That's game over. So again, guess who's smiling today besides me? Dominion Voting Systems, Smartmatic, Ruby Freeman, Shay Moss, anyone who's suing Rudy Giuliani for defamation is smiling right now. And speaking of Freeman and Moss, Shay Moss was one of the in-person witnesses today. I actually felt really bad for her. She was up there by herself, and you could tell that she was very nervous. But her mother, Ruby Freeman, sat behind her for moral support. And they are the two women who were the brunt of all of this ire, all of this violent rhetoric, and all of these threats against their lives in Georgia. So she and all of the other witnesses shared how Trump's lies put their lives in jeopardy and how their lives have been completely upended, like forever changed. All of their families, all of these witnesses, all of their families have been threatened, including their children. Ms. Freeman and Ms. Moss have completely had to change their lives. They don't leave the house. Freeman had to shut down her business, all because Trump and his minions made up this story and edited a video, pushed it out to his people, tried to make it look like they were taking ballots out from a suitcase, out from under a table. So all of the Georgia election officials, not all of them, but a couple of the Georgia election officials, like Raffensperger, and there was one other guy, they were there today. They gave their testimony explaining exactly why this was all bullshit, how they went through everything, how people just don't understand how stuff works, how they weren't double counting votes, how things would get stuck in the machine. They'd have to clear the machine, discount those votes and then start all over again with the same batch. And during Bowers' testimony, He teared up. He was talking about how his daughter apparently was gravely ill when Trump supporters surrounded his home and they were outside. They're shouting through megaphones. They're accusing him of being a pedophile. They're accusing him of helping to steal the election. And he said, his daughter was gravely ill and it very much upset her. He also said he had to intervene at one point. There was a member of the Three Percenters militia group, one of Trump's hatred groups. This guy showed up apparently and was threatening his neighbor with a gun. So Bowers had to step in. He said he felt compelled to do something, all because of Trump. All because Trump is such a whiny ass, spoiled brat, crybaby who can't accept that he's a loser. That's why all of this happened. So it's all been debunked. Everybody knew. Trump's own attorneys said, campaign attorneys said, no, this is all BS. You cannot do this. This is illegal. And they pushed ahead anyway. So I'll say again, if Eastman doesn't lose his license, I don't even know what to say about our justice system. And we all know Giuliani is already on the verge of losing his license, but clearly Powell, Jenna Ellis, everybody, all of them need to have their license on the chopping block because none of them deserve to be attorneys. They have violated their oaths, just as all of these Congress people have, and they invited all these people to come and talk with the committee and explain their actions. And Biggs and Johnson, all these people, they're too chicken shit. They won't do it. Why? Because they know they're guilty. And here's the thing, guys. I keep hearing that the committee is not going to refer this to the Justice Department for criminal charges. Here's why I think this is a monumental mistake and why I am so freaking sick and tired of these weak ass Democrats. They keep saying, oh, it's going to look too partisan. It's going to look too political if we do that. By not doing it, you're being political. If it was anyone else, if this was an investigation of a non-political matter and they found this level of guilt and wrongdoing and criminal activity, they would refer it to the Justice Department. So by definition, not referring it over simply because it involves a former president and another political party makes it a political decision to not send it over. And this was the problem we had with Mueller. He found all of this evidence of obstruction of justice, and he refused to make a referral. Just like Jim Comey. Oh, I didn't want to seem political, so I made an announcement about Hillary Clinton. You just made it political, guy. And tell me, if the shoe was on the other foot, if the roles were reversed here, would the Republicans give a rat's ass how it's going to look? No. You know why? Because they know that their voters would be cheering them on. Their voters would be saying, yes, do it. That's why we elected you, to fight for us. That's what the Democrats need to prove, that they're there to fight for us. That's why I said the other day, stand up and freaking fight. I don't mean physically with knives and guns. I mean, do your damn jobs. Do what you would do in any other case. Refer it over to the Justice Department with a letter outlining exactly all of the crimes that Trump broke. You would do it with anyone else. Do it in this instance. Prove to your damn base that you are hearing us and that you're willing to fight for us. Not just put on a freaking show and then walk off the stage after you take a bow. I'm so sick of it. Seriously. Anyway, guys, that was today's hearing and my rant for the day. All right. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.